J.Schreck. I've done a lot of different stuff in my career in the motorcycle business, and I have dipped my toe in the pool of what you might want to call e-bikes. So I've been on this journey, and a lot of people have asked me, why would you choose a e-bike over a motorcycle or a motorcycle over an e-bike? And I tell you what, when I started to look into the e-bikes, what did I want? I wanted a vehicle that would take me long distances, great suspension to be able to take me on these adventures, possibly even be able to lift it up and pull it over a chain link fence or a barbed wire fence. And when people talk in the bike business, the motorcycle business, I should say, when they think of heavy, they think of over 300 pounds. And in e-bikes, it's totally opposite. 90 pounds is heavy to a bike rider, but it's not to anybody else. So I thought, if I can get the perfect bike, e-bike, that will get me the distance that I've wanted and do everything that I can do on a motorcycle, then I would be sold and I would be over and we would no longer have to have these discussions. But that's not what happened. So if you're in this realm of trying to figure out, do I buy a motorcycle or do I buy an e-bike? That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about my experiences. I've been in the motorcycle business for over 25 years. The e-bike business, not so much, but I spent enough time in the last year looking at the different vehicles and purchasing them and riding them that I feel like I'm not maybe an expert, but what choice would I make if I had to do it all over again? And that's what it'll be at the very end of this video. But I want you to say, I love motorcycles. I love e-bikes. I went to the dealership today on this KLX Kawasaki 2021 KLX 300, and they wanted $300 for an oil change. Now they're going to tell you it's a first service and they do 50,000 things, but it's $300 for an oil change. That's a pretty big negative. But here's the deal. I got on YouTube. I changed the oil for about $35. So there we go. Now that wasn't a full service, and I'm not saying it was, but $300 is a lot of money for a first service with anybody. So that being said, now let's look at the vehicles and what vehicles are out there and what vehicle I chose. I chose the Bike Tricks and full suspension bike, big buffing motor, and I was told that this bike would go everywhere that I wanted it to go, and it was going to do everything I needed to do without a problem. You're looking at that bike specced out like I had it with two batteries. You're looking at about $6,100 to $6,200 in that window. You might get a special. You might get it for $55. That's about where you're going to be on an upper end Chinese bike. So understand what we're saying when we're looking at bikes. Most of the bikes that are on the market are Chinese. If it's a throttle bike, which means that you can pedal or you can not pedal. And that's the choice I wanted in this vehicle. So if you buy an upper end Chinese bike, if you might want to say, and that's no disrespect. There are great Chinese motorcycles out there as well. So that's not a disrespect. But they're not made in the United States. So you get these bikes and they put them together. And here's the first problem you're going to deal with on an e-bike. The problem is that you are dealing with a drivetrain that is made for human power, and you're throwing 1,000 amps or whatever you're throwing at it, and it's not made for the amount of power. It'd be like Superman getting on your bike and just ripping the gears. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is you have massive amounts of maintenance if you're going to ride any bike. My buddy rides a gravel bike. He's the champion of Arizona, right? And he works on his bike every time he rides it. That is part of what you do. That's part of the deal. You have that maintenance. I'm not from that world. I don't want to have to clean the chain on every time I drive it. I'm not wanting to go do all the work and the adjustments and all the different stuff. I found out the brakes were pretty minimal on the e-bikes, even if you spend the money for the extra one. Key thing too is the hub. The hub will not take the stress of that motor pushing it. So you've got to get a $300 or $400 hub on the rear. So now you've cranked this bike up to about $6,200, which in the motorcycle world is not crazy. Your new Honda is going to cost you $6,149 for or the same thing with a Kawasaki if you buy new. plus their fees, which are going to be more. So here we are. So they make motorcycles that operate on very little maintenance that will take a beating and you can ride them for years. And the reason that they don't have an e-bike that will do the same thing is absolutely ridiculous. And I will test anybody's bike out if they want to send them to me, if they want to debate me, if they want to go down here, I'll put it on video. We'll go do Road to the Devil and we'll see what the thing will do. Because if it will do what I want it to do, now, there's a million different ways now. There's different hubs out there. They're without gearing, things like that, are $1,500. All I want is an e-bike that when I get on it, it goes, it's reliable. If I'm in the middle of nowhere, it gets me out, it gets me home. That's it. I'm used to the reliability of motorcycles. Now, there's some cool things about bikes too. You get on it. I live in an area where there are trails locally down here that I cannot take a motorcycle on. I could jump on the trails, go have some fun right by the house, and then come home. So there's some advantages. It's ease of throwing. You throw it in the back of the truck? Yeah, you possibly could. You may not want to after you spent $6,500, whatever you might have spent on that bike. But you also don't have any. You have such poor in all these bikes. You have such poor factory. I mean, the best one is probably Bike Tricks, but you're still not there. They still can't do it. They still can't fly a mechanic down here. They still don't have places they can take them. I mean, I don't care how good they are. They're the best that's out there. But is it realistic that you could go down and get a part? No. Is it realistic that, yeah, they can ship it? Then you gotta be the one that works on the bike. Just like today, I decided I'm going to be the mechanic on my motorcycle. And so if you want to do that, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do maintenance. Some people love it and some people are good at it. I'm not that guy. So when it was all said and done, the amount of money that I had invested in a bike, and if you do the upgrades and build it like you want, you're going to have $75,000 to $8,000 in it eventually when you trick it out and put all the parts on it that are cool. And then you're still going to have a vehicle that you're going to be worried, is it going to get you back home? And again, I hope that they get these e-bikes in that scenario because I love them. I have an e-bike now. I ride it almost every other day. So but I ride it in the neighborhoods and I run a couple trails. But when I get ready to go out and do expeditions, if you look at my channel and you see where we go and what we do, and you'll see some of the bike videos on it too, you'll see where we go. And you have to know that when you start that thing, or you're going to get home as best as possible. And so a used motorcycle, KLX 300, CRF 300, basic model bike, you're looking at $5,000 for a 2020, 2021. That's fairly cheap. $5,000 out, right? You can't find a good e-bike for $5,000. Now, if you go into the more bike models, the Treks, these different locations like that, you have to pedal. And then again, they are an assisted pedal. They're not to be ridden like a motorcycle. So right now, is there a line in the sand of, can an e-bike be a motorcycle? No. Can a motorcycle be an e-bike? Yes. I mean, there are different models that you could get. Let's say that you're just completely afraid of motorcycles, then buy the Honda, the small Honda Trail, and Trail 110, I believe it is. I'll check that out. Buy that bike. It's a great bike. It's a little scooter. It will take you wherever. Buy a Zuma. There's a million different bikes out there that will take you and get you where you want to go, get you 80, 90 miles to the gallon. We'll start up every time that you want to start them up. Now, here's the problem. You do have to have insurance on some of these vehicles. In the state of Arizona, if you're not going to ride it on the road, you do not need insurance. Now, if you're going to ride it on the road at all, you do have to have insurance. But you know what? You better have some type of insurance on an e-bike, because guess what? And then you also have the regulations of all the people in all these different states that are trying to knock your bike down, trying to keep you off the trails. And it's ridiculous. And so you have that war going on. In a perfect world, if I could get on an e-bike and do everything that I could do on a motorcycle, would I still love to have it? Yeah, I absolutely would. I still love an e-bike that did what I wanted to do, that gives me support that I need, and possibilities to find different models and units locally, but you can't. Everything's basically shipped in. Everything's got the same basic frame, and they can debate me all they want. Look at it, look at the system, look how it operates. And I'm not trying to beat them down. They're doing a good job trying to advance their product, but you have to build your own stuff to be able to do that. It's this weird little niche market. You need two motors, you need a front and a rear. Why? With one quits, you got another one, because of reliability, because of the fact that now you've got batteries that cost $500 and $600 a piece. Come on now. You need two of them. You're talking $1,200. As ridiculous as gas is in the state of Arizona, you still ain't going to use that much gas. It's absolutely absurd. So, the state of the market. One day, someone will build a reliable e bike with all the right components that I can get on and ride and not have to worry about the fact that I'm going to strip a hub out. I'm going to strip the gears out. I'm going to break a chain. All those things that I'm not used to in the motorcycle business. You ride those bikes forever. And so one day, do I hope that I can get a e-bike that's 90 pounds that will run me 100 miles and will be reliable, and I'll be able to put gear on it and I'll go out and have fun. Now, people are going to get on here and some of them are going to be mad because I'm saying this. I'm okay with that. If your experience is better than that, well, then leave a comment. My experience is they haven't built that bike yet. And some of these bikes that are out there, the Chinese models that are being produced or marketed in the United States, they're asking 6, 7. The ones you get at some of these places is absolutely unbelievable. And I will challenge you. Give me one of your bikes. I'll go take it. I'll give it a whirl. And if it does everything you say it will do, and I'll have that reliability, and I won't have to worry about chains or sprockets or all these different things that are built for bicycles and not for power, then I'll go take your vehicle out there. I wish it would have worked better for me. I still love my e-bike. I still ride my e-bike, but I don't take it to the places when I need to get out and get into the stuff. If you're a commuter and you live, 15 minutes from your house or 20 minutes from your house and you're riding back and forth, even some of the Chinese bikes will work absolutely fabulous. But if you're going to take the bike off-road for an extended period of time and not worry about also running out of charge, that's a big deal. And I'm hoping they do. And do I think one day they will? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I believe that they do. But right now, if you got $5,000 in your pocket and you're looking for a bike, go buy a KLX 300 or buy a CRF 500, a couple of years old, and just go ride the hell out of it for as many miles as you want to ride it, and have fun with it. But you are on a motorcycle. Now, if you're afraid of that, buy one of the smaller scooters, buy one of those, or if you're riding in town or through the park, a e-bike is beautiful and perfect. If you are an e-bike rider or a bicycle rider and you just want a bike that will give you more power and you want to get one without the throttle and get a name brand bike, you are still looking at $5,000-$6,000. Now, even some of the motorcycle dealers like Husqvarna and Gas, they have e-bikes and they're cool. But guess what? They're expensive and they still are e-bikes. And they still need to be pedaled as well because they're throttleless. Now, one day, will one of these companies bring that bike to fruition? I hope so, because I absolutely love e-bikes. I love the idea about e-bikes, and I wish that my experience with e-bikes would be better. But as of today, which is November of 2023, they don't have one on the market that fits the bill. But I hope they get one. J.Schreck, come along with the adventures that we have, and I'll see you on another episode. Adios, amigos.